In a world where progress never sleeps, one company stands out as the driving force behind infrastructure and energy solutions. Introducing our fuel company and cement producer, where excellence meets efficiency. Jar Oil. The company have 30 filling stations across the country that are all operating, which includes the recently completed Yarambamba and Old Yundum filling stations. And our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Along the years, Jar Oil introduces importation and distribution of cement in their line of business to diversify and strengthen their operations. Are you a cement retailer? At the moment, Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market. With a focus on sustainability and innovation, we are paving the way for a greener, stronger future. Trust in us to fuel your projects and lay the groundwork for success. We currently produce over 25,200,000 bags per year. As the largest cement producer in the country, Jar Oil also targets to export cement to the neighboring countries like Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, and others. Join us on our journey to shape a world where every drop of fuel and every bag of cement makes a difference. Together, we can build a brighter tomorrow.
Good morning on Thursday, the 27th of March, 2025. It's 8 a.m. in the Gambia, and therefore coffee time on West Coast Radio with me, Peter Gomez. On YouTube, we'd like to thank Jar Oil and Wave for their sponsorship.
Excellent jam, si Wave.
Yo, Abla, yo, luta do dede. Luta mo nulo jel mo to nga andil mahalis. Hello?
Bisul mo fine.
What?
Bisul mo fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave acts in Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills, and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave, Bisul mo fine? Wave, your money is yours.
Coming up on Coffee Time this morning, The Voice newspaper apologizes for a headline in its Wednesday edition and applauds the Minister of Information for, quote, his timely clarification on the matter. Tombong Saidy is today's guest. And we have, of course, today's newspaper headlines, which I want to go to straight away because The Voice has sent me an apology to read out on its behalf, and it's given me my top story. The statement reads, the management of The Voice newspaper sincerely apologizes to the Presidency and the National Assembly for the article published in the Wednesday, March the 26th, 2025 edition titled, Survey Reveals Corruption at Presidency and National Assembly. We regret any misunderstanding or reputational harm this may have caused to the office of the President and the National Assembly. We also extend our appreciation to the Honorable Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, for his timely clarification on the matter. Once again, we offer our sincere apologies for any distress this may have caused from The Voice newspaper management. Now, in reaction, as a journalist, to the apology, I want to say this. We all need independent and reliable news. Because as the American actor George Clooney recently said in an interview, when the other three estates fail, when the judiciary and the executive and the legislative branches fail us, the fourth estate has to succeed. Governments don't like the freedom of the press. They never have. But we, the press, also must always be transparent and accountable in how we report stories and when we make mistakes. And while I commend The Voice for its apology, I also question why it finds it necessary publicly to appreciate the role of the Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services. Dr. Ismaila Cisse. Dr. Cisse, after all, was not directly mentioned in the problematic headline. Why is he being appreciated? Well, to his credit, Dr. Cisse has always been available to this medium whenever we have sought his clarification on issues. And I'm glad to say today is no different. I have him on the line. Dr. Cisse, thanks for joining us. The Voice thanks you for your timely clarification. What did they get wrong with their headline, and what clarification did you help them with?
Good morning, Peter. Thank you. I think the headline is misleading. That survey reveals corruption at the presidency and the National Assembly. Now, surveys are perception surveys. They ask people about their perception, about what they think about society, issues, institutions, and so on and so forth. Now, such perception surveys cannot reveal anything because they don't have an authority. They are not an authoritative investigation. Now, authoritative investigations can reveal malpractices or corruption, but not surveys. So, the headline, it was very misleading. And I summoned the Voice News editor to my office together with the Gambia Press Union executive and the Media Council executive and also the Newspaper Publishers Association. They came to my office and we had a meeting, and I brought this to their attention. Particular headline is very misleading and is very damaging to the government, and we cannot can reveal corruption because they cannot reveal corruption. And graciously, he apologized and realized there was an oversight. He accepted that it was an oversight, it was a mistake, and that he apologized and that he would retract and apologize. And I thank him for being gracious in doing that. Peter.
So did you do this of your own volition, or did you get a complaint from State House? Because the article targeted the President, President Barrow, if you like, and the National Assembly.
Well, my job as the minister is to ensure that values such as accuracy, objectivity, transparency, and the public interest is instilled in journalism. And I don't have to wait for you to tell me to do my job. When I saw the headline, I knew it was wrong. It was a misleading headline, and I had to take action, and I did take action.
Is the paper being targeted, Dr. Cisse, in view of its recent problems with the President?
No way. I mean, they've been that said anything, but I mean, for us, what is important is that the media, it doesn't matter which paper or which news site, as long as you are within the framework of journalistic ethics, we don't have an issue with you. But if we say leading, we will obviously bring that to your attention and we can resolve it. Remember, Peter, we are in a new democracy. Because it's new and young, it is also fragile. We cannot be carried away by sensational and misleading content. Some need to maximize engagement and revenue, but we have to understand we have a country to build, and our peace is important. So we need to be alert and on our toes. And not only that, I mean, recently I've also seen how some media houses also are insensitive in reporting murder cases by publishing pictures of the victims sent to their families as well. I think we have a lot of work to do in orienting also our journalists on how to report murder cases, how to report surveys as well. And this is a challenge that the ministry is aware of, and we are going to provide capacity building for journalists to do reporting on these issues like domestic violence, gender violence, murder cases, criminal cases, and also to do reporting on surveys and so on and so forth. Thank you, Peter.
And until, this training starts, do you have any intentions of going after those media houses that are publishing these murder pictures, as you say?
Well, we are not going after anyone, Peter. What we want is for journalists to report within the framework of ethical journalism. That's all we want asking for. And if we see a statement which is not in the public's interest or a headline which is against the public, which is misleading, we will obviously bring it to their attention and we can resolve. That is why I have Media Council here, who is self-regulatory. That's why I brought them in as well, together with GPU. So we work together as the key stakeholders to ensure that the information ecosystem is ethical, but also is free from anything that is manipulative and that sends wrong signal to the public.
Earlier, you described democracy as being fragile. Do you see the media as a threat to our democracy?
Can you repeat that, please? I beg your pardon?
Earlier, you described our democracy as being fragile. Do you see the media as a threat to our democracy, our fragile democracy?
No, actually, I see the media as a critical stakeholder in promoting and consolidating our democracy. They have to play that role. That is why when you start calling it fourth estate, they have a critical role to play in helping consolidate our democracy. So they should not in any way do things that erode our democracy. Expect that from them as well. So that is why we work together with them, together with other stakeholders like GPU and the Media Council, and the Newspaper Publishers Association to ensure that the media work within the framework of ethics and also to ensure they help promote our democracy.
And how would you rate our performance of that role that the fourth estate has?
Well, through engagement, through providing capacity building for young journalists. Remember, we have young journalists who are new in the field, and also through engaging with veteran journalists like you as well, to help the young ones and mentor them as well. So for us, our engagement, we don't have any interest in going after anybody. It's in our interest at least work freely, independently in this country, and they report accurately as well. That's in our interest. So we don't have any interest in going after any journalism or any journalist for publishing stories. What we will do is to bring to the attention stories that we think are either misleading or are not in the public interest.
As Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting, I mean, you wield a lot of power. I mean, whatever media organization you don't want to operate, if you can't close them down immediately, you could use, renewal of their license to make sure that they don't come back. I mean, are you flexing your muscle, by inviting the voice over to come and a lot of people would say they have given this apology under duress.
No way. I mean, they accepted that the story was misleading, and they accepted and they decided to apologize. And I think that is gracious of them. So interest in going after any media house, Peter, like I said, we operate within the framework of the law. What we want as a government, like I've always said this to you, Peter, we have the most transparent, and we want to be accountable to the people. That is why we promote journalism in this country. So we have no interest in going after any media house. But again, for me, it's about engagement. Like I said, we have a democracy to nurture, and I think the president wants to leave a legacy to be the one who really consolidated our democracy. So we will not do anything that will jeopardize that, Peter.
Just finally, because you're off to GRTS for your next interview, what message might you have for critics, opponents of the government who might want to seize upon this to criticize the government, to say, there they go, they're going after critical media organizations like The Voice newspaper?
Well, Pete, everybody knows that since His Excellency's assumption to power, that media has never been free in this country. This global scorecards have attested to this. The promotion of media in this country has never been, if I may use that term. So critics can say whatever they want to say. We know what we are doing. We are focused on what we are doing. We want to work with the media. This is the message of the president. That is why, if you remember, in December, he invited all the media houses to a dinner at the State House, just to engage with them. All policies that we are doing now is media-friendly, to ensure the media operates independently, without fear. That is our approach. So, but people can criticize government. That is their right. It's a democracy. We're accountable to the people. Our action should be questioned sometimes, but it must be done so with good faith. But in this case, Peter, there was a case where a story was misleading, and we thought we had to bring it to the attention of the journalist, and he accepted it was misleading, and then we are good to go.
Well, he didn't say it was misleading in the apology. Should he come out now, the editor-in-chief, to deny everything you've told me this morning? Would there be retributive action against them? I mean, we see this playing out in the United States between the Trump government and the Atlantic journalist.
No, I've been following that case. But Peter, in this case, I think Musa Sharif, the editor of the newspaper, accepted that the story wasn't accurate, and he took responsibility, saying there was an oversight, and he apologized publicly.
And my question is if he comes out to say, well, that apology was extracted under duress, would there be any retributive action against him?
There was no duress. I wouldn't expect him to do so.
Okay. Dr. Cisse, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Peter.
And as always, that's Dr. Ismaila Cisse, the Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services. It's Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. On YouTube, we are sponsored by Jar Oil and Wave.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mo nulo jel mo to nga andil ma halis. Hello?
Bësal mu fine.
What?
Bësal mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave acts in Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills, and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. Ak Wave. Bësal mu fine. Wave. Your money is yours.
It's coffee time with Peter Gomez on West Coast Radio. Also on YouTube on Thursday, the 27th of March 2025 on YouTube. We are grateful to Jar Oil and Wave. In the studio now with me is Tombong Saidy. He's very busy these days, writing statement after statement, going after the government in every way conceivable. Tombong, welcome to Coffee Time.
Thank you, Peter, and good morning to all your listeners and audience. Now that you have
we also
audiences,
have viewers.
Viewers on social media.
I'm going to be reading out today's newspaper headlines. But as you came into the studio, you were listening to my conversation with the minister on the Voice newspaper's apology for a headline it published yesterday about corruption in the presidency and the National Assembly, sourced from a study.
Yeah, I was listening to him, and I also heard the apology. I don't think the Voice should have apologized because they didn't make the survey. Afrobarometer made a survey indicating that there is increasing corruption in both National Assembly and the presidency, and this is based on comparison. In 2018, Afrobarometer made a survey, and 19% of the respondents believed that there was corruption, at the presidency. But in 2024, it has increased to 49%.
Oh, wow.
So, and for National Assembly, it was 15% in 2018. In 2024, it's 46%. So you cannot. This is a survey done. Afrobarometer is not a political party; it's an independent organization that does surveys in 35. It's present in 35 African countries. So it has nothing against the government. Also, it's just reporting, what the surveys, indicated.
Although you would also admit that its findings are always contested. The judiciary.
Yes.
Contested the findings on,
But anytime the finding is positive, they don't contest it. They accept it. But, this is something that the paper reported. The role of the newspaper or any media is just to report facts.
And source its report.
And source
its
findings. Yes. So they reported the facts and quoted the source. So they haven't done anything wrong. So I don't know why Mr. Sarif is apologizing. Maybe he was intimidated or is being intimidated. I don't know.
We await to find that out. I hope, Sharif also comes out eventually and answers questions, because the minister has answered, his questions. I think it's for him also now to tell us whether he is apologizing under duress.
Yes.
Was he forced to apologize? If you don't apologize when your license expires, we're going to ensure that you don't renew it, because they could say this to you.
Yes.
I am only on YouTube because I was uncertain about my license or other West Coast Radio's license being renewed.
Or they could tell him that your residence permit will be revoked. Like Jamed did to Bess.
Okay. All right. Tombong is with us, but let's take you through today's newspaper headline, starting with The Voice. GFF to blame, not government, for Scorpion setback, says Kamaso. Digital Economy Minister updates National Assembly on Gamtel staff petition. Yankuba Toure's judgment set for early April. Gambia Police provides update on Ibrahim Sisse's case. Sabali accuses UDP of continued attacks after his departure. BCC mechanic exposes missing truck parts and dubious repairs at inquiry. And Gender Minister urged to accelerate implementation of Disability Act. Next, we head to Foraya's front page. Diaspora Gambians can only be registered in a constituency, says Attorney General. Parliament upholds clause for publication of voter list amid heated debate. National Assembly wraps up consideration of criminal offences bill. A 15-year wait, the unfulfilled promise of Kirmot Ali's exiled residents. Court orders closure of S&J properties after failed land deal. State files criminal charges against 3 alleged armed robbers. And manhunt for Ibu Seka underway after escape from custody. Here's the front page of The Point. Digital Economy Minister explains $9 million salary bailout to Gamtel. BCC Chief Mechanic reveals council funds misused for private vehicle repairs. Alleged jungler Michael Correa stands trial on April the 7th in the U.S. Gender Minister advocates for $10 million budget to implement PLWD Act. Prosecution seeks adjournment to review inclusion of another alleged armed robber. IMF cautions Senegal over ex-regime's $7 billion misrepresentation, and legendary lawyer Fafambai passes away. Next, the Standard. Sanctions hit Belarus. Looks to Gambia to boost its depleted air fleet. Michael Correa's torture trial begins next month. Police break silence on escape of murder suspect. Minister justifies employment exam for teachers. IMF confirms Senegal concealed $7 billion in debt under former government, and Fafa Imbai remembered. And finally, the Gambia Daily. Gambia calls for responsible AI governance in Africa. Lab scientist fears Gambia may be losing Septrin, ampicillin, and other antibiotics to antimicrobial resistance. Government to develop HR and payroll data warehouse via Microsoft Analytics. The Gambia and Turkey strengthen educational cooperation, and ECOWAS commits to attracting 10 million intra-community tourists by 2029. And that's today's newspaper review. Our thanks to Foraya, The Standard, Gambia Daily, The Point, and The Voice. And since we have Tombong in the studio, let's pick out one or two headlines just to discuss with him. ECOWAS committing to attracting 10 million tourists, within its member countries.
Well, it could be good, but I don't know how they're going to go about it.
Well, if it succeed in keeping all its members.
Because ECOWAS right now is disintegrating, and it's losing its credibility.
Yeah.
So, and
I'm not sure about the credibility, but at least 4 of its founding members.
Yeah, but it's all part of it, because 4 of the founding members have left, and they left because of the way it's been operating. Most countries are seeing it as just like a club of all head of states who take decisions not based on the interests of the people that these governments govern. For example, in Guinea-Conakry, when the former president was fiddling with the constitution, ECOWAS did not say anything. They just sat by until the army came to take over. And the same happened in all the other countries that. So when
and Guinea-Bissau.
Yes, exactly. And right now,
rumbling.
Yes, Guinea-Bissau is rumbling, and they're not. Coming outright to
Well, they went there and they were kicked out.
Yes, but after that, what have they done? They just made it.
What did you expect them to do after that?
They need to come out very strong to say that the voice of the people of Guinea-Bissau is more important than the opinion of the ruling, the president and his ministers. Yeah.
Sanctions hit Belarus. Looks to Gambia to boost its depleted air fleet. This is funny. We don't even have a national,
We don't even have a national carrier. Yeah. So maybe they would use Gambia as a to bring some of their
to buy aircraft, in the name of the under the name of the Gambia.
It's very unclear, but you never know what's going on. So maybe later on,
that's a story to follow in the Standard.
Yes, more information will come out because there are mafias all over.
Yeah, and this I know you've been critical about the local government commission from day one. But come on, some of the revelations, Tombong, I mean, if they are to be believed, really, the councils have all of them not been run as we thought some of them were.
Yes, the revelations are very good in the sense that they reveal, the endemic corruption all over the country, not only central government. But we were critical about, and I'm still critical about the commission, not because it was used as a witch hunt. And they targeted certain individuals, especially Talib Bensouda.
It hadn't even started work,
yes,
Tombong.
Yes, I know, but
you only thought it targeted Talib.
No, I knew because what happened was prior to this commission, the minister set up a commission to investigate KMC about the Senabu Martin saga.
Yes,
KMC took them to court, to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court. The High Court disbanded that commission. So now, because they didn't have the authority.
Well, that was a panel, wasn't it?
Yes. No. They set up a ministerial commission.
Was that a commission too?
Yes, a ministerial commission. But before it took off the ground, it was taken to court and it was squashed. So now, the president set up a presidential commission covering all local government, inclusive, so that way it will not say that it's targeting KMC.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Tombong is with us for the entire program. We'd like to appreciate our sponsors on YouTube, Jar Oil and Wave.
Excellent jam si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello? Ano lay waxal?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Accina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisul mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
Tombong, welcome again. We see that, almost on a weekly basis, the media unit of the UDP is putting out statements in response to, different issues relative to governance. Is this a new strategy the party has employed?
Yes, it's a new strategy. We have to keep the NPP government on their toes. Before the media unit was very
dormant
and very slow to react on a lot of things. But now we have taken over and we are making them react. I mean, we are, dictating the narratives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's start with the latest and probably move as far back as time allows us. The latest has been, your to and fro with the Ministry of Sports over, the situation of the Scorpions and not being able to play at home because of the conditions at the Independence Stadium.
Yes, I've seen the statement from the ministry, and I also listened to the minister when he was here on Tuesday, I think. Yeah, but I think they missed the point. Instead of addressing the issue, they're deflecting matters, stating what government is putting on AFCON and other activities, and even going to the point of saying, I was a board member at the stadium, and what did I do to renovate the stadium and stuff like that.
It's a valid question, and you are here. Hopefully you'll tell us, what
it's a valid question, but, the Independence Stadium is a subsidiary of the ministry. The ministry subvents Independence Stadium. When we were there, Ibrahim, I hope Ibu Fai is listening, we made a proposal to renovate the Independence Stadium, and especially the Friendship Hostel, to a standard whereby even international teams can come and camp there. And they threw it away. They didn't do anything about it. The stadium doesn't have enough revenue to finance the renovation of the stadium. And just to go a little bit further, I think that 200 million plus they put there is a waste. It's a waste in the sense that they don't even need to spend that. A UDP government would not have spent that much. We could have renovated the stadium free of charge to the Gambian people.
How? Free of charge?
Yes, because the stadium was built by the Chinese and donated it to the Gambia as a grant. The company that built the stadium, they are still here in the Gambia.
Oh, are they?
Yes, they are still here in the Gambia. We have a very good relationship with the Chinese government. They gave us the International Conference Center as a gift. Why didn't the minister, a UDP government would have approached the Chinese, explained to them our predicaments, and they would have gladly take over the stadium, renovate it to a good standard, and give us, just hand over the key. But
it's a good suggestion,
yeah.
But you could have made this suggestion to the Jame government, of which you were once a part, to say, we got the stadium as a grant from the Jawara era. Now that you are here, those Chinese are still here. Go and ask them to help us upgrade.
First of all, during the Jame government, the situation was not as bad as it is today, to the extent that no matches would be playing. Mm-hmm. Secondly, if you remember, when Jame took over, he dumped mainland China and went to Taiwan.
True.
So it was only after he exhausted, the benefits from Taiwan that he went back to mainland. And the first project they offered us was the
International Conference Center.
Mm. So it was just the honeymoon time of the remarriage between the Gambia government and China.
And then the Barrow era kicked in.
Yes, the Barrow era kicked in. A lot of goodwill from all over the world. So they could have easily contacted the Chinese embassy and they would have done it, and they would not spend 200 million, And this 200 million, you can even, it should be audited to see where did this 200 million go, and was it tendered, and who were the companies that tendered.
And also you raised the issue of reports from the 2 Africa Cup of Nations tournaments that we went to. We are still waiting for those reports.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but the fact of the matter is, this ministry have not done much as far as sports is concerned. If you remember, before the 2023 mayoral elections and local government elections, the Minister of Local Government went all around the country laying foundation stones for mini stadiums. Where are they? How many of them have been completed? What are they doing to the contractors for all the delay? Huh?
Maybe they only laid foundation stones without actually having given out contracts.
No, they said that they gave contract and they would even take those contractors to court for delay, whatever, but nothing has happened. All those mini stadiums have failed.
Yeah, that's a challenge they'll have to face up to because very soon it will be election year.
Exactly.
And of course the opposition will use anything
and the youths are not sleeping.
against them. No, the youths are happy.
Yeah.
The youths are happy. You can't say the youths.
Well, they are very happy. That's why they are dying in the sea, going back way.
And before the stadium, you took the government on this issue of diaspora voting.
Yes.
Although a lot of people would say, well, you misdirected your missiles there. You should have taken aim at the National Assembly instead of
no.
the president.
You have to understand, the National Assembly, the majority voters are the puppets of the government.
Puppets, that's how you're describing them. These are honorables.
Honorables. They are honorables who listen to State House. If State House says jump, they say how high. Yeah. It's the same honorables who rejected the 2020 draft constitution. It's the same honorable who forced to pass the budget without scrutiny. So it's the same honorable who voted against the diaspora voters. So I don't think Gambians in the diaspora would call them honorable. And to be honorable is not just a title. You know, it's something that you should also earn. You know, but they don't really earn it. They are just honorable in papers.
You referenced the 2020 draft that was thrown out. I mean, government argues that that should not be part of the conversation anymore. It's been rejected. It's been rejected. Let's talk about the 2024 draft.
No, but the Minister of Justice stood and said that the 2024 draft is basically...
it's remodeled.
Yes,
it's
yes,
remodeled. So
yes.
forget about that one.
So they took the 2020 draft, took out the
what was not wanted,
sections they don't want, and brought it back. So they brought a skeleton of the 2020 draft.
But this one stands more chances of being passed than the 2020. Nobody will go back to the 2020.
No, this will not be passed. This will fail. That's
You
why.
don't-
That's why they.
You don't know that. You won't be voting.
Yes, I know. I know, because you see, they need two-third majority.
Is it because of the threshold? Exactly. I was
Yes,
going to ask
yes,
whether
they
it's
need
because
two-third
of
majority, and they will not get two-third majority.
Is that
So-
because
so-
the
so it
UDP
will
will?
fail.
Is that because the UDP will insist that all its members vote against it?
Not only UDP. All UDP members will vote against it. There will be a lot of independent.
Well, they voted with the government, remember, on this diaspora voting thing. That's why it was easy for them to win.
No, the diaspora thing is a simple majority. You know, it's a simple majority. They could even by one
Well,
vote.
people like Almame are opposed to giving the diaspora the vote.
Yeah, people are, because most of them, they don't understand the issues. You know, I mean, to say that the IEC will find it tough to make this happen, it's not their business. The business of the National Assembly is to pass the law. And then the institutions and ministries concerned will find a way of implementing the law. Simple.
You mentioned the IEC. There's a huge vacancy to be filled.
Yeah.
And there are rumors going around about who might become the new chair. Is this of concern to the UDP?
Of course, it's a concern to all Gambians, UDP and all opposition
There are
parties.
people who would say, well,
Yes.
listen, whoever is appointed is okay.
No. It's not okay, because it's supposed to be independent electoral commission. It's supposed to be independent. And it has not been independent since its creation.
Seriously?
Yes. So we hope, we are waiting to see who will be elected as or appointed as the head of chairman of the IEC.
How closely is UDP watching? You know, I mean,
Oh yes, we are watching very closely. The
position?
party leader made a statement already about it, saying that the person should be at least the standard of a high court judge, somebody who understands the law, who is seen to be a neutral.
Well, that's what the Constitution says.
Yes.
But until now, have we got that? No.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So it has to be implemented.
And we've been going to elections and accepting the results of the elections,
So
with
if
the
they-
exception
if they-
perhaps of 2021.
If they put somebody there who is just a sycophant, we have other means of challenging it. We have the courts and other means of challenging it. Yeah, just like we challenge when a particular gentleman was appointed to the. You remember Remy Joyner when he was appointed to the
IEC.
IEC. So we made sure that he was withdrawn, and the appointment was withdrawn.
Well, now he's with the local government.
He's the local government commission.
Okay. Tombong, we're out of time. In 2-3 minutes,
No, in 2-3 minutes, what I want,
Yes.
let the ministry come out and tell us when is Gambia going to play a home match in the Gambia. One. Secondly, let the ministry tell us when are these mini stadiums all over the country going to be ready and handed over to the youths. Those are my only two
But that's
questions.
simple.
Yes.
We might even get Bakari Baji to give us an answer.
You see, I have to write a statement for him to come back to your studio. He didn't come here until he last came here when he was about to lose the election, the mayoral election for the second time.
Ouch, that one hurts. That's Tombong Saidy, head of media, United Democratic Party, bringing us to the end of today's edition of Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. Thank you very much for the pleasure of your company. We'll be back tomorrow and we'll be talking about drugs. Our guest will be the Director General of the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, D-League.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jams,
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mënuloo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello? Ana lay waxal.
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bustle mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.